If you're a diver, you need a dive light, and you need one that you trust. So when OrcaTorch sent us a light with a zoomable beam that gets so tight it could double as a lightsaber, I knew I had to run a night dive with it. This is the ZD710 MK2, and I'm going to tell you why it just became my every dive carry. Welcome back to Generations Below. We're a father-son dive team breaking down the gear we love, exploring the world one dive at a time, and hiding treasure along the way. If you find one of our coins, you win real high-end dive gear from brands that we trust. I'd been looking at lights with zoomable beams for a little while already, and this one tightens down to something about the size of a Coke can. It gets really tight. I dry tested it at home, and I knew it was going to be a pretty cool light to use. OrcaTorch sent this one for review, but I knew it was dependable because we already own 3 other OrcaTorch lights that we paid for ourselves. So the main test was a night dive in St. Croix, and this thing just performed. It ran point the entire time, mounted on a soft Goodman handle, and I gotta say, I'm impressed with it. The beam adjustability makes it incredibly versatile. You have the wide flood when you need coverage, and then that tight spotlight when you're scanning holes or crevices, but for some reason, most of the time I found myself keeping it in that real tight beam, and I'm not really sure why, maybe just because it looks cool, but if you crank that thing down, you can get some serious penetration out of it. The battery lasted the entire 45-minute dive on its highest setting, which honestly is overkill. You don't need this thing on its highest setting. It's good that it has it, but you don't need it. I already expected this because I own the other OrcaTorch lights and their batteries are just good. They also have the USB-C charging port right here on the side of the battery with LED indicators to let you know when they're done charging. This is my favorite style of charger for dive light batteries, because you don't have any open ports on the outside of your light. Okay, durability. I put this one to the test. So after my night dive on the pier in St. Croix, I tripped walking back out to my truck on asphalt, full kit, tank, BCD, everything, and I already had this light clipped off to my chest D-ring. So whenever I fell, it took the full weight of impact, and all it got was this little bitty scuff right here. You can't even see it. And it still performs perfectly. And this isn't a one-off accident either. I took my DC710 down without realizing that this USB-C port was open. See how it has the charging port on the outside, on the body of the light? I dove with that thing open, fully open, and it didn't do any damage to this thing. So I trust their durability. I don't baby them, and they've never let me down. So why did I choose this new light to be my go-to? It's powerful, the zoomable beam makes it very versatile, and it's reliable. That's why literally this is now my every dive light. The beam range is great, from impossibly tight, like I said, to an adequate floodlight, and then the 3 power settings, it's good to go. I also like the simple button. It's a single button operation. You have on and off, and then your 3 brightness levels, and then you can do like a travel lock on it for when it's in your bag. You hold it down for 5 seconds and it's locked out, so that way you can leave the battery in there. On size, so it's just a little bit larger than the DC710, which I believe is the same size as the D710. So if you look at them here side by side, I mean, it's a little bit taller. Obviously, because it's a zoomable beam, it's gonna have a bigger lens area, but not that much bigger. I'm not gonna mind carrying this thing at all. So for day dives, I clip it to my BCD. This is the DC710, not the zoomable, but I clip it to my BC like this, and then I run my GoPro clipped onto it right here. That way it's quick, easy, you can run it just like that. You've always got it mounted on your BC. This one will do the exact same thing. And then for nighttime dives, I mount this on one of those soft Goodman handles or wrist straps right here that'll tighten down to your hand and hold it just like that. So what would I change about this light? Honestly, there's not much, and I gotta get pretty nitpicky here. You see how I connect them with a key ring to my D-ring? I wish that this hole right here was just big enough to snap a double ender on. That way you could just always change it out, and you could change whatever light you have without messing with the key rings. Those things kill my nails. I don't know about y'all, but again, that's getting pretty nitpicky. Okay, so one other thing, and again, it's not towards the light. This fitting right here that lets you mount it to your camera rig. I wish that you could get this with either a 1/4 inch 20 hole right here to where you could put it on here and mount your GoPro, or if they made this fitting right here with the male bolt coming out of this way, you could just mount your GoPro fingers right to it. Or again, this with GoPro fingers mounted on it. Or a 1/4 inch 20 bolt coming out. But again, that's getting into the weeds. The light itself is absolutely fantastic. Is this my main filming light? For general use, yes. But if I'm really trying to capture like vibrant marine life or color accuracy, I switch to a video light with red, white, and blue lights. That's where I use the OrcaTorch ZD710 which is their video light. But even then, this one will still ride as my backup. And now that I have this one, Gunner inherited the DC710, so this is my go-to light now. Okay, so full disclosure, OrcaTorch reached out and sent us the ZD710 Mark II for testing, but with no payment and no scripting requirements. They just said, test it, and that's what I did, so this is the honest review. Before I committed to making this full review, I ran it through real dives. I started with a night snorkel dive in St. Croix on the 4th of July underneath a fireworks show, which was a really awesome experience if you've never done that. And the full test came during a night dive at the Frederiksted Pier. That was one of the most humbling dives that I've ever done, and I'll share the full story in a follow-up video. I think a lot of people could learn from that one. Bottom line, if I fumbled this light to the bottom of the ocean tomorrow, I'd buy another one, period. I was already looking into zoomable lights, and this one checks every single box. It's powerful, dependable, and now it lives on my BC. So who's this light for? I would say any diver who wants control over their light beam, doesn't have night vision superpowers, and really guys, if you're a diver, even if you don't dive at night, you need a light for safety, for filming, and for seeing in the dark spots. And this is a damn good one. Hey, I want to know what you think about the ZD710 Mark II or dive lights in general. Drop it in the comments, we'll try it out. If you have questions, leave them in the comments section and I might make a video addressing it. If this helped, make sure you smash that subscribe button. If you're new to the channel, here's something awesome. We hide real treasure underwater. We call it the hunt. If you find one of our coins, you win high-end dive gear from brands that we trust. You can check out those treasure drops and clues on where to find the coins right here on the channel. The hunt is on. Man, look at all this gray.